Here's my FanDuel update.
Okay.
Let's see. I have played $1,473.21.
What?
I have won $1,333.21. No, don't get confused in that. Here's how much I deposited. $375 total. I have withdrawn $160. So what does that put us at? 200.
Yeah, 2 something. That's a lot, though.
So I'm $215 in. I have $75 currently in my account,
Yeah.
which means I've lost $140. So in that money, what did I say it was?
1,000 something?
No. Yeah, well, that was the amount played, but
The 200 something?
I deposited $375. I've taken out $160. So that means there's $215 of mine currently in the FanDuel system. $75 of that is accessible to me. The rest is lost. So with $215, I have played the $1,473.21.
Wow.
So that, the money.
I thought that you had given up.
I win some, I lose most. But it's not as bad as it seems because I have won $1,333.21. So there's a discrepancy there of $150. Yeah, it all. It's fine. That's what I'm saying. It's fine.
Okay. I'm
Christina.
surprised. I thought that you had such vitriol about it.
Oh, I
the
do.
last time we talked.
I do. Christine asked me, "Do you even enjoy this?" I was like, I don't think so.
You love stuff that you don't enjoy.
Well, I enjoy when I win. That's the thing, isn't it? Isn't that how people get hooked? It's like I own that little burst of dopamine, that energy, that feeling I get when I win, even if it's like $20. It's like, fuck you. Even though 6 of your other bets were losers.
You've lost like 70, right? But you've gained 20.
It was like yesterday. I bet $50 and $55 and only ended up winning 30. So $25 in the hole. But I've modified my game. Before I was betting on players to get hits and pitchers.
Ridiculous things, kind of, right?
Yes. It's not so ridiculous. I wasn't going so crazy. I was
like the batter before he comes up is going to have gum in his mouth as opposed to sunflower seeds.
Well, there are some of those bets.
Yeah.
Like the first pitch of the bottom of the 4th inning will be. And I did it. I did that a few times. I also only bet on baseball. I know I just said I also twice in a row. And they were 2 different thoughts. So it's like one also, and then I moved immediately into the other also without giving you the information for the first also. But I only bet on baseball. It's trying to get me to bet on Women's World Cup. I have no interest. It's trying to get me to bet on Ultimate Fighting. I have no interest. Boxing. WNBA. No thanks. I stick with the sport that's pretty much a crapshoot. Baseball. And I realized with baseball, because you can bet innings also. In this inning, I say there's not going to be any runs. And in my mind, watching baseball over my life, the first inning, I usually view the first inning as teams not scoring runs. It's like they're getting warmed up, the game's just starting. And so I bet the first inning there won't be any runs scored. And I fucking lose every time.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Apparently, the first inning is one of the highest scoring innings in baseball.
Well, that makes sense because they're not tired, I guess. It's not even like baseball players seem to even get tired. They have so much downtime.
I was going to ask. Do they get tired?
No, they just hang out constantly. I feel like so much of baseball is just hanging out.
It is. Unless the pitcher will get tired. Like that's a lot of work.
That makes sense. The pitcher's doing, I think, maybe the most work.
They are. That's why they only pitch once every 5 days or something. The arm can't handle it.
Well, if you think, if you see the when they do the slow motion of someone pitching, it's really gross. They're holding onto the ball, but it looks like the rest of their arm is made of like some liquid. It gets all flung around.
Well, it does put a lot of stress on that part of their body. So this first inning thing, I keep thinking though, come on, I gotta win. And if I bet on one game, sure, I would win sometimes, but I do that dumbass parlay where I say these 3 games, none of the teams are going to score in the first inning, and I never win. But I do it because you can turn like $10 into $60. So I was like, one of these times it's going to hit, and it never fucking does. Yet I keep doing that one because I think one time it will. And even if it does at this point, the amount of money sunk into it is going to offset the $60 I will win.
But I hear you, because I feel like even just you describing it is like, yeah, let's let it roll. Keep going.
Well, you get it. It's like the roulette wheel when you see 7 reds in a row and you think it's got to be black next time. No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No, it sure doesn't.
The same odds that are each time the ball is put into the roulette wheel. It's the same exact odds. They don't carry over. The wheel's not thinking about the last time. It just resets, and the odds exist. It could be red 1 million times in a row. Now, the odds for that to happen are probably pretty low, but
right.
That's why they put that board up, because that's exploiting the way we think. And it's the same thing with his innings. It's like, well, it's got to hit eventually. It's going to have to happen, and I should just take a smaller payout. That's the other thing. You're like, oh, I'm going to bet $10. I'm going to win $8 if this team doesn't score. Both of these teams don't score in the first inning. No, fuck that. I want more. So, I, despite understanding all of this, I still give into it. There was a game. I don't want to talk too much about it more because we did a whole show, and some people don't give a shit, and probably you, because it's sports betting. But there was a game I bet on the Mariners. The Mariners were playing the Twins a few weeks ago. And I bet that the Mariners would win by 2 runs or more. I took the spread.
Not a bad bet.
I took the spread. Going in to the 9th inning, the Mariners are up 4 runs. And I think, wonderful. This is pretty good. The Mariners are going to win this, and there's room for error. First guy up to bat gets hit by a pitch. And I'm like, fuck. But no big deal. 4 runs. They can really 3 runs, because I need them to win by 2. No, so 2 runs. I can't even get it straight. But there's room for error because I need them to win by 2 so they can give up 2 runs in the 9th. First guy gets hit by a pitch. I'm feeling okay. Next 2 guys, outs. I'm like, great, 2 outs. We're there. This is going to happen. Next guy up gets a hit, a single. So then it's runners first and second, 2 outs. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if you get another base hit here, the run scores, still okay. Next guy up to bat, 2 strikes on him. The fucking team is 1 strike away from winning this game. And I think to myself, I was like, wouldn't it be something if this guy hit a home run on this next pitch? And I talked to whoever the betting baseball gods are. Right. I said aloud, I'm sitting in the living room at night late because this is a West Coast game, aloud. I say, hey, baseball god, I know it would be really funny for you if this guy hits a home run on the next pitch. I understand that. I would laugh too myself. But, it's late. Turn out the light. Just go to sleep. Let me have this one. Just please, let's just do this thing. Good night. Next pitch, dude hits a home run. And I lose. The Mariners end up winning the game by a run. So the guy hits a 3-run home run. Then the next dude comes up and he's out. But I lose the bet because I said that they would win by 2 runs. And I couldn't even be angry. I really couldn't, because
You're just like, this all makes sense.
It was so fucking ridiculous. I thought at that moment, I thought, none of this is real. This is a fucking simulation. Life is not fucking real. Because if you fucking bet, if you went in with that bet that, oh, this team is down 4 runs, they're going to lose the game by a run. Even let's not even go there. That in itself, I guess, is a pretty. Sorry, I don't know if you cut out.
No, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just muting so I could drink this water.
All right. There's a hiss in your line, so when
you can hear the difference.
When you mute it, sounds like you dropped off. But anyway, the point. I think everyone knows the point I'm making. If you bet on that happening, if you bet on a dude hitting a home run with 2 outs in the 9th inning, it's not going to happen. It's fucking, the chances are so low. But it happened, and that's fucking baseball. The dumbest sport in the world.
Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ.
Woo.
This week's topic, I think it's the Cretans Autumn saw at the Atlanta airport.
Yeah.
Is this enough content? You did send me pictures of these people. Maybe it's enough content to fill the show. Maybe it's a follow-up to our airports episode, which for whatever reason I felt was pretty weak, but we don't have to get into that. I don't remember the specifics as to why. Just afterwards I thought that could have been better. Like the hotels episode.
Yeah.
There was something, I was like, there was so much to talk about that we didn't talk about. What the fuck did we actually talk about?
Yeah, I honestly don't remember what anytime we ever do anything. It just goes out of my head. It comes out of my mouth and it's gone forever.
Yeah, real pro. No, I got you to shut
Stop
down. Yeah, it's over.
Stop it. I told you. I gave you a boundary and you continuously cross it.
I just think that these shows would stick with you, that you're putting such an effort in that there's no way you couldn't remember the show. You know,
No,
it's like
there
if you
are
run a
ones-
marathon, you don't forget running the marathon and how much it sucked to run the marathon. Not to say that it sucks doing this, but you know, that thing sticks with you. You're putting in a lot of effort.
Yeah, but you
You're
don't remember
shitting your
every
pants.
moment of it.
You certainly remember the moments you peed and shit yourself.
Sure. This is not that traumatizing. So I'm not remembering that.
What if I
It's just so off the cuff and like improv and just at the top of my head that I kind of remember the feelings that I had during certain episodes, but I don't remember specifically what we talk about.
You know how dedicated I am to this show?
Oh, how dedicated are you?
I would defecate in my pants if I had to go. I would not stop the recording. I'd say, you got to keep going.
You are so dedicated. You're duty-cated.
And considering I took 5 stool softeners and then 2 cupfuls, the little cup that comes along with the laxative, 2 of those. It may happen today, and I'm drinking a coffee. We don't need to get into the details. For whatever reason, though, things weren't happening, and I thought, I got to take care of this. And then I tried one thing, and then nothing happened, and then I had to try the next thing, and I'll just leave it at that. There's no need to go into the details. I shouldn't have even brought it up, but it was fitting. It was fitting to what we were discussing.
I want to ask you more questions about that, though.
Does anyone want to hear the answers?
Well, why do you think you're constipated?
I don't know. I'm not hydrated enough.
Well, that might be true. But are you not drinking all the seltzers anymore?
Some days I don't.
Okay.
I don't know why this is happening, but I've been on a soda kick, but not the sugar soda. So Zeros, Coke Zero, Dr. Pepper Zero. It just, when it's hot, especially,
Yeah.
something about it that feels like it quenches my thirst more. It also probably offsetting the fact that I'm not eating as much sugar.
Oh, that's good.
So not having as much sugar, I'm still craving some sweet shit, so I go get the Zeros, which some people claim I'm sure they're not good for you, but there's these strange studies that correlate it to diabetes and weight gain and heart disease. And I think it's just anyone who's drinking a bunch of sodas to begin with, zero or not, sugar-free, sugar-full. They probably,
Oh, God.
nothing like your own dog scaring you.
That scared me because he's dead asleep and then bam, he barks.
They probably have bad diets anyway, is the point. So a lot of these, I think are
so too.
correlations. So it's correlation, but it's not really the causation.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe the zero sodas will kill me. And that'll be that.
I feel like the poor diet and the sugar intake that you were having before, I think that would be worse. I think that would kill you before the Coke Zeros will, or Dr. Pepper Zeros. Dr. Pepper's a good choice for a diet soda.
Tastes very good.
It does.
It
Even
translates
the diet well
version.
to a diet version. Yeah.
Well, there's a diet version of Dr. Pepper, and then there's the zero version, and the diet itself is very good. And,
Right.
Diet Coke has that taste that people like, which is why it still exists. But
Well, yeah, because Diet Coke is not really Coke Diet. It's its own thing.
yeah, it's its own flavor.
Yeah.
A Coke creation.
It's like
Dream world.
gross, but people seem to like it. People have gotten used to it, and so now that's the flavor.
Have you ever had any of those Coke creations?
Which, those like sparkly ones?
Yeah, the ones that they put out for a limited time. Dream World's the only one that comes to mind. Starlight, I think, was another one. Alien
No, I heard that they were
Face.
terrible.
I brought this up on the radio show the other day. They all taste like suntan lotion to me.
Interesting.
There's always a hint of coconut somewhere in there.
Which makes me think it's veering into like cream soda land.
Yeah, probably some of those did. They won't tell you what's in them, and people guess. And they all write about it on Reddit. They love it. It's a very exciting thing for Coke fanatics. The people who collect Coke, you go to their house and they have old Coke signs and polar bears. And
Ooh, those people are worse than like Disney people. I hate when I see people that are like adults who have all their Disney shit. Like on the back of their car, they have all the different like Mickey Mouse ears version of their family. Or like Disney Mom. Or they have like a watch that's like Mickey and his arms moving around. I don't know. Knock it off.
advocates
Relax.
for corporations.
Yeah.
They really got you. It's similar to Times Square. It's like, let's go to Times Square, visit New York. It's like, okay, go look at all the ads. Enjoy. Have fun.
And also, I'm not a country bumpkin who's never seen a city before. So being in Times Square just seems like a hassle.
it's like you're a moth drawn to the light.
I'm not
Ooh.
impressed. I'm like, wow, this is really busy and a bummer to look at.
Overstimulating.
Yeah.
I think there was a point in time, and I'm sure people who lived during this time didn't find it to be cool, but a point in time where there was the contrast of all those advertisements and the bright lights of Times Square and the crime. That's interesting, at least to me. Now you
Right.
got the sad, mangy Elmo walking around fighting Spider-Man because that part of the sidewalk is theirs. That's depressing to me. And then they get so hot and they lift up the head and you see the person underneath. It's like Elmo has googly eyes. It's like not even proper Elmo. Second-rate Elmo suit.
Yeah, they're always really loose, the suits. Like there's no structure underneath them.
They got mites
Fleas.
in their fur. And they grab your kids when you walk through Times Square and the kid's like, I want a picture. And then you say, okay, I'll take a picture. And then they don't let your kid go until you give them money.
Yeah.
They hold on to them.
Kidnapped, sex trafficked.
Took that to an extreme there, but somewhere in
Yeah.
between. A little less than that, I'm sure.
A little less than sex trafficking.
Yeah, I don't think it goes that
It's
far.
the gateway.
There was a video I saw of Times Square in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Of
Was it the movie Big?
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
I
When that guy
watched
walks by, he's like,
I watched Big and I mistook that as someone's home video.
yeah.
I thought, wow, what a crazy story. They should make a movie about this. Somebody was living in Times Square. I guess
Okay.
there were, there are apartments nearby, filming out their window down to the street. And a man goes up to another man, punches him,
Oh.
knocks him out. That man's laying on the sidewalk. Other people come up and you think, oh, they're checking on him. They raid his pockets. They just reach in and they steal everything he's got in his pockets and they walk away and they leave him knocked
What?
out. That's the Times Square you want to visit. Pickpockets, prostitutes, different time.
Wow.
And then you get the cup of noodles ad after
Yeah,
watching
and like cigarette ads.
after watching some. Yeah, that's a thing that long gone,
Yeah.
relic of the past. Can't advertise cigarettes anymore. Can advertise vape though. I think vape is everywhere. But you watch some crime in Times Square and you get hungry and then you have a cup of noodles.
Mm-hmm. You have some street meat.
Well, the cup of noodles ad was a
Can't
big,
get this in Ohio.
they had prime space for quite a while for whatever
Oh.
reason. You wouldn't think cup of noodles had that kind of money, but it was
I think they quietly make bajillions of dollars.
it was a staple
You know?
of Times Square. They probably do.
Yeah. Are they a part of like a conglomeration of some other thing that makes a billion other things, like ketchups or something?
It's all tied together.
Yeah. It's like
There's-
it's like it may contain soy or peanuts or something because it's made in the same factory as something else with peanuts.
What's the company? Starts with an M.
Oh, it's
Maruchan.
like Maruchan. Yeah. Nissin is the brand. Yeah, Nissin. If you go to their website, there's like a start button. Oh, it's a really fun website. Oh, what a blast. This is shockingly fun. Retry. Oh, it's like a roulette of different types of cup of noodle. All right, I'm going to get this kind, which I don't even know because it's all in Japanese.
All I get's our founder.
Go cupnoodle.gp.
All I'm getting is going to Nissin Foods, our founder, Momofuku Ando, a visionary
okay.
innovator and the father of instant ramen.
The father.
He probably died. Maybe that's... Anyway, you were just in Atlanta,
I was.
returning to your not home. You have no connections to Atlanta anymore, really, outside of the radio show. There'd be no
Yeah.
reason for you to go back.
It's true. It's kind of sad.
When the radio
And
show's
things are so
done,
different, too. I don't know where things are. Or, I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know where some things are. I don't know what's new.
when the radio show's done, do you think you're going back to Atlanta ever again?
Yeah, because my friend Anna lives there. Well, she lives in Lawrenceville.
All right, I mean, that counts. It's the area. Because your parents moved, and I was just thinking, there's nothing. Where did they put you up this time?
At the Canopy in Midtown.
Is that
Westgate
nice?
Street. Yeah, it is nice. I like it. And it's really close to the station and stuff, so I didn't do anything during the day. I just stayed in my room and like laid around.
Did they try to knock on the door?
No, they don't do that anymore.
They started doing it again.
Really?
Well, I guess.
I mean,
it
unless you
depends.
say, like, come in, I want this cleaned. They won't come in. Like, they don't
Okay.
knock on your door to clean anymore.
It depends on the hotel.
Oh, okay. I haven't
'Cause-
been in one in a long time that they actually, like, come in every day to clean.
There's some where they do. There's some where they don't. I feel
Okay.
as though internationally, even before COVID, it was less of a thing. It's a very seemingly American thing where clean it every single day. Give me new towels wasteful. And it fits us. It fits our beliefs and our culture. Waste, consume. These days, I guess because last time I was in a hotel, I did have to put the sign on the door. I said, "Leave me alone."
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was in the shower once, and I heard them trying to get in. And luckily, I had that latch at the top locked. So the door opened, and you could probably see into the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
I didn't care. I wasn't worried, whatever. But
But they just came in?
yeah, I heard the knocking, and I thought, whatever, they'll go away. And
Yeah.
then they didn't. Because that makes sense. They would knock to see if you're in there, and if you don't
Right.
answer, I usually don't answer. I don't like when they knock when I'm in there. I don't want to open the door and say no thanks. So I usually just be really quiet, which is worse because if you're making noise, they can hear you. For whatever reason, the instinct is to go quiet. I go completely quiet. Even if the TV's on, I hope that the TV will deter them. But it's like I stop moving for whatever reason. And then they try to open the door, and I always have that other latched, and then they can't open it. It opens a little bit. It catches. And they close the door, and that's that.
Whoa.
There's no reason to have it cleaned every day.
No.
Even making the bed. It's like, don't make the fuck. I don't want people going in and straightening my stuff and making my bed.
I don't mind the straightening up, But I really don't make that much of a mess for anything to really be all that straightened.
I don't either. There's no reason for them to do this. And I can make the bed. I don't like people serving me. I've brought this up before.
Oh, right. That's true.
It's very clear as day, the difference in class. And you can say, well, that's a person's job and they chose to do it. Most people they don't set out to do that. They're doing it because it's the job they can get. And I don't like that discrepancy. I don't like the fact that you are coming in and cleaning up after me. Who the fuck do I think I am?
Well, I don't think that the people that are doing that job think of you that way unless you put weird demands on them, because it is their job.
Well, they get paid the same and they don't have to clean a room. That'll make their job easier. How
right,
about
there
that?
you go.
Though I guess you're supposed to tip them.
I know, I should have left some tip. I never leave a tip.
What are you
I do all
supposed to
kinds
do?
of shit. Like I gather my towels and put them in a pile, and I put them up like on the counter so you don't even have to like reach down to get them. I don't make a mess. Everything's in the trash cans. I even put like big items in the trash can by like the elevators so that you don't have to worry about that in the room.
I usually have a trash pile by the end because I don't let people in. It's all near the trash can, but those trash cans are small. So
well, that's what I mean. So that's why I'll take my own trash that's bigger, like a to-go box or something that I finish, and I put it over I take it to a different whole trash can. So I'm saying, like, they're not having to do a whole lot of work.
there are people who take advantage of that, though. They're extra messy, I think.
Yeah.
Because this is great. Somebody's going to clean this. So I'm going to fucking be a jerk.
It's weird.
I'm going to be messier than I ever would be at home.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this trash just on the ground right here next to the bed. Maybe that's a bit extreme, but I do feel as though there are people who take advantage. Going back to the tip thing, what are you supposed to leave, though?
I think anything is nice.
It feels strange to tip someone $5 to $10 to $20, depending on the meal, at a restaurant for an hour and a half, 2 hours. That feels long. And then somebody, over the course of a week, you leave $5. They come in and clean your room. You leave.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't have them clean your room, then yeah, leave them $5. They didn't have to do anything really. They just have to clean it at the end, which is what they'd be doing anyway. And if you've given them less work in there to do, which is because you haven't made a mess, you haven't destroyed the room, then yeah, $5. But if you for some reason, had a crazy time and you don't have the ability to clean it the way that you normally would if you were just existing in the room for a week, then yeah, leave them $20.
I used to do that at the Highland Inn because I would get a good rate. Sometimes I get the room for free, or I get it for $40 a night. So then I'd leave a nice tip at the end of that.
That's nice.
Most of the time I just forget. I leave and I forget to leave the money. And then I assume that most people don't tip in that situation, because when you don't see the person, you don't face the person, it's much easier to not tip.
Yeah.
When you have the pressure to tip, like the touch screen,
that I do not feel pressured to tip. I'll tip if I want.
The person behind you is watching. They flip
care.
the screen back around. They see that you put no tip.
Yeah.
I got a dirty look the other day because I went. It was very hot, and I stopped at this store to get a water, and they had one of those screens, but it wasn't a store. It was a counter with food.
Okay.
Like they had bread items and other things like that. So they had one of those touch screens with the option to tip, and all I got was a bottle of water. And I paid with my card, and it asked me if I wanted to tip, and I said no. I saw the look that she gave me.
There's no way for a bottle of water that they didn't have to do anything for you.
They grabbed it and they handed it to me.
No, that you don't get a tip for that.
What about a coffee?
Just a coffee?
Just a coffee, but they prep it. They put the milk in, the cream.
Hey, give them $1.
Yeah, I tend to give $1. Well, it depends. I don't drink coffee out much anymore. If I get it from the bodega, I wasn't tipping anyone.
No.
Nor do I think they expect a tip. Though I do tip
No,
for
because
the
they're not
sandwiches
pouring
there.
it for you, right? You're doing it yourself.
No, they pour it at this one. Some of them you do it yourself. Other places they pour it for you. If you go to the fancy coffee place where the coffee's already $5 for whatever reason, I'd leave a tip because I felt as though, hey, look, if I'm going to go into this kind of place, this is just the way it works. And here's
But yeah,
$1
just
to
a
make
dollar.
my-
I mean, even at the bar, if I get a beer, I'll give $1. If it's a cocktail, it's $2.
I would leave $1 for the burnt coffee. Oh, you're expensive. Oh, you just don't have the palate for coffee. It's like, no, I actually think the bodega coffee's better tasting. I do. Maybe I don't
I know,
have a
like
palate. Maybe
Starbucks
you're right.
regular coffee sucks.
It's burnt.
It's burnt. Just like that's why. So I think there was like a blind taste test, and I think McDonald's coffee won because it was the most drinkable.
When it's not fucking hot. The hottest coffee around is McDonald's. I don't know how they get it so hot or why they get it so hot. I know that woman sued so long ago because she spilled it on herself.
That was actually really sad.
Why?
Because it was so hot. The coffee was way too hot.
I still feel as though it's that hot.
Really?
McDonald's coffee is the hottest coffee you can get.
Hottest coffee in town.
I don't know if that's something to brag about.
It'll burn the shit out of your face if you spill it.
Yeah, it's like the surface of the sun. It's like our coffee comes from the sun.
At the bottom of it is a rock that used to be a blop of lava.
So she got really hurt is what you're saying.
Yeah, so there was that whole joke about, oh, she got burnt by the coffee. It's like, well, what do you expect? It's coffee. What is this country coming to? But it turns out like it spilled on her crotch and she had, severe burns and disfigurement and issues using the restroom and stuff. And she was an old lady.
Well, good for her then. It's there's that fine line. It's like, hey, you spilled it. That was your fault.
Well, I think there was an issue with like the cup and the lid and the.
Still, even then, I do feel as though people are responsible for themselves. But I am siding with her. I'm not saying forget the corporation and their money.
I think there was a story recently about a little girl getting burnt from chicken nuggets. And we talked about it on the show, on the Von Hessler Doctrine, and it was put out there like a joke. But I thought, there's got to be more. You know what I mean? You can't just have like a hot nugget and you're like, ooh, hot. And then be like, I'm going to sue and then win.
Did you do more research?
No, I just left it there.
So you weren't that interested?
Well, I was interested, but I can't bring it up on the show because I can't like contradict anything that's going on or else.
I just meant for yourself after the fact.
Yeah.
1 week ago, jury awards $800,000 to an 8-year-old after chicken nugget burned her. 7-year-old deserves to be compensated by McDonald's for a second-degree burn caused by a wayward piece from a Happy Meal when she was 4. How old is she now? She's 8 now. This took 4 years. She's clearly fine. They gave $800,000 to her for suffering and mental anguish. A chicken McNugget.
Why was it so hot?
It fell on her thigh, causing a second-degree burn.
I've never had a nugget be that hot.
$400,000 for the pain she endured, and an additional $400,000 for any future suffering. For future
From what?
PTSD. Can't eat chicken nuggets anymore. Really missing out because my friends love chicken nuggets, and it makes me feel like an outsider.
Oh, she was totally coached to
No,
say that.
I made that part up.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. I was like,
But lawyers for the family was asking for $15 million.
what?
Yeah.
Ugh. All right. Well, maybe I'm wrong. maybe it is bullshit.
The two companies were okay. They were liable for failing to provide reasonable instructions or warnings on the packaging, for example, about the risks of injuries that could result from a chicken McNuggets meal.
I don't know. See, now I'm questioning everything.
For whatever reason with the coffee, I side with the lady who got burned.
Yeah.
With the chicken nugget.
I don't know.
It's not liquid.
Right.
Even if it's hot, how hot is it? Okay, it burned her skin. It's clear that it burned her skin. But how long did it sit on there? Is it that scalding? I guess
I can't imagine it being that. I mean, how did they get them out? If they put it from the fryer straight into her little box and then one fell out, and I guess it could have hurt her.
15 million.
I mean, that's wild. 15 million is insane.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're angry at 800,000. I wouldn't be. I would feel embarrassed ultimately. It's like, why are you giving me this money? Because I dropped a chicken nugget on my thigh. If I had a kid and that kid dropped chicken nugget on their thigh, I wouldn't think to sue the restaurant.
I mean, what's a second degree burn look like?
If you go get sizzling fajitas and they tell you,
oh yeah,
hot plate, be careful, hot plate, and you drop some of it on your leg, is that your fault? Do you because they warned you, they said hot plate, or can you sue? And if you sue, do you ruin sizzling fajitas for everyone? Because no place is going to want to serve them anymore.
I'm looking at her burn. It is pretty intense.
Maybe the chicken nugget, it was hotter than it should have been. I usually have trouble with the mental anguish.
Yeah.
There are things,
I mean, that's a little silly.
There are things that cause mental anguish. And not to say, especially as a kid, that being burned, but I burned my whole hand on the stove. Did we sue the stove maker? Did we then
Kids get
reach
hurt all
out
the time.
to GE? Hey, my kid turned on the stove and liked the fact the coil was glowing, thought it was cool, wanted to touch it. Actually, I don't think that's what happened. I think that the glowing had stopped, and in my mind, I thought, oh, that means it's cool now.
Right, yeah.
But it was still hot. And
my Uncle Vince, there was a commercial for safety razors when he was a kid. So, which is just a razor, right? Just a razor. And it was like a little, I don't know, like a little leprechaun or some sort of little guy that was a cartoon. And he would like raise his fingers up and the razor would appear. And then he would lower his fingers down and the razor would disappear. And it would he's moved it around. But Uncle Vince, because he's a little kid, he went in and got the razor that was in his bathroom and did the same thing and sliced his fingers. Had to go to the hospital.
And what happened?
Nothing. They didn't sue Gillette or whatever.
So like a knife maker. I guess the idea here is the chicken nugget's not supposed to be that hot. It's supposed to be hot.
It said in this article, it's like the red hot chicken nugget.
So like a knife is supposed to be sharp. Everyone knows what a knife is. The manufacturer is making the product as it's supposed to be made. I guess the idea here is the product is not the way it should be.
It said it was at 200 degrees.
I mean, it's hot. I dropped boiling water on my foot the other day. It didn't feel good. I boiled a bit.
I've been burned by steam before.
Yeah, steam can be very hot.
Yeah, I was surprised.
I boiled a pot of water to pour it down the sink because I wanted to clear the drain.
Oh, right.
The drain seemed to be fine, but I washed these coffee grounds down there, and I know that you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And I still do it anyway because it's a little bit at a time, a single serving cup. And then I let the water run to flush it through so it doesn't, whatever. But in my mind, I thought, oh no, I should just do this to be safe, even though it could melt the pipes. I get it. I know somebody listening right now is if you don't have the metal pipes, you shouldn't be doing that. Fine, I understand. But as I was pouring it out, some splashed and dropped on my foot, and it burned me through my sock. I guess there's no one to sue. And the drain maker. Why can't your drain handle coffee?
Yeah, you have to sue physics.
So this person
says that the nuggets. Oh yeah, one of them fell onto her lap and then got wedged between her leg and the car seat. And then it says, leaving her thigh, quote, disfigured and scarred. Now, scarred, sure, right? You got a burn. A second degree burn. You probably are going to have a scar from that. But disfigured?
Technically, it's right.
Really? Disfigured to me implies like it's
It-
been so damaged that now it's making it difficult to walk, or like it's impeding on her development or something.
I think it's disfigured is just the look of something. I don't think it has anything to do with the function of it. It's just,
Yeah. But doesn't disfigured sort of give that impression to you?
I mean, it's an extreme term. It comes off more extreme than others, but by definition, I think
Yeah.
that's right. Her leg looked a certain way. You could say it was an attractive leg because it was a normal looking leg. And now because it's scarred, it's no longer as attractive as it once was. So
It
it's been
says-
disfigured.
Lawyers for McDonald's argued that the nugget would not have been more than 160 degrees, the temperature the McNuggets are cooked to avoid salmonella poisoning, and was not meant to be pressed against human flesh for more than 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, because that's how long I guess it was stuck up against her skin.
This doesn't make sense. You're not wedged into a car.
Well, she's in her car seat, right? So she's in the back.
That's right. She's 4. Okay.
Yeah,
You are.
and she's
You're
in the
wedged
back.
in. You're wedged in.
Yeah, you're wedged in.
I forgot. I forgot that she was a child in a car seat, and you are wedged into that thing. You're locked into it.
I mean, 3rd degree. The lady with the coffee got 3rd degree burns.
Do you think, and this is getting pretty cynical, maybe somebody out there, I'm not saying they did it, but let's just use this as the example. Somebody somewhere once thought, let's get some McDonald's chicken nuggets, and then they reheated them. They still made sure to go through the McDonald's drive-thru, and they got new chicken nuggets.
Uh-huh.
But then they somehow reheated. I'm realizing that the timing for this couldn't work because you could reheat something in the microwave and make it really hot. Then you have to go to the McDonald's and get the other one,
Right.
depending on timing. But still, you could make a trip to McDonald's, buy chicken nuggets, go home, heat them up in your microwave so they were really hot, put your kid in the car seat, and obviously this is an awful monster if they do this, but put the nugget in between the car seat and your kid's leg to burn them, and then blame McDonald's knowing that you could get money. And if you had record of going to McDonald's, they don't know. You could say that it happened 5 minutes after. They don't know if it happened 30 minutes after or an hour after. They don't have any idea.
I guess so, yeah.
And the kid's 4. Well, the kid's 4 probably would say, because kids at
Mommy
4.
told me to say that. Yeah. That
So
we didn't go home and heat it in the microwave.
So again, I'm not talking about this. So if it was like a 2-year-old, though,
Yeah.
you can barely speak.
I mean, that's pretty messed up, though.
Of course it is.
Let's
but
say
people
it's
do
for
shit
yourself.
for money all the time.
Let's not include the kid. Let's say like I went home and reheated these chicken nuggets so that they'd be scalding hot, and then pressed it up against my body.
I wouldn't put it past people. People do a bunch of shit for money. I mean,
But people, sorry, go ahead.
sometimes people, when they're addicts to opiates and they want pills, they'll injure themselves on purpose. They're so
Yeah.
desperate. I know that's a different drive at that point. It's so wired when you're deep in addiction, but just using it as an example, people will do things to themselves to get what they want. And they'll certainly do it to others.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is a lot of work to go through, but I wouldn't put it past somebody who's motivated, I guess.
I don't know how we ended up here. We're talking about you being in Atlanta,
Oh, yeah.
down.
That's not really that important. I went to the airport and there were some people that.
Well,
were
I was
just
curious about the
weirdest.
trip, and
Oh, yeah. I could talk about what happened on the trip, like as
You-
far as asking for money.
you going to Atlanta too. I keep doing this thing now. I realize when I'm trying to figure out my words, I'm going before I speak. And have I been doing this forever? I don't feel as though I have, but today it's certainly happening a lot, and I'm aware of it. And I apologize if anyone else picked up on it.
Nobody else did.
When you go to Atlanta,
Maybe you're a pilot and that's how you talk now. Welcome, Delta Flight 1020.
it's interesting that they all speak the same. I'm sure that there's some kind of coaching that happens. I know that they want them to remain calm. They always want to exude calmness,
Right.
but the way that they speak, the the other parts of it. Don't know where that comes from. I don't know why. Similar to NPR hosts, how they all try to sound like Ira Glass. No, I welcome to This American
Or
Shut Up.
like somebody shumpting or other. Like they have a sha.
Yes, that's what's her name.
Yeah.
Fresh Air host.
Fresh air.
What is her name?
What is her name?
Terry
Laura
Gross.
Schlesinger.
It's Terry Gross.
Terry Gross. Anyway, yeah, what did you want to know?
I was interested in the fact that you don't have much connection to Atlanta anymore. We kind of hit on that. You said you'd go back. To me, obviously, a lot of connection to Atlanta. Family, sisters, nieces, nephews, friends. I know you still have friends. I go to Atlanta less these days than I used to. I used to go several times a year. But I find myself 15 and a half years into moving away. And I've been once this year, February.
Okay.
Will I go again? Yeah, I'll go down again at some point. I don't know when that live lounge is supposed to be happening for the people who gave money to the
I
carousel.
asked to be a part of that live lounge, and they said they wouldn't pay for the trip.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Why not?
I don't know.
You should have. You should have just. You can't book it the same way I can book it because I'm a third-party payroll company and I
Yeah,
book
I can't.
stuff. I book stuff and then just put the receipts and say, reimburse me. I also don't bill for the whole trip because I tend to do other things. So I just bill like half of this stuff,
Oh, okay.
which seems fair. All
Yeah,
right,
it's
so
nice of you.
So they're not going to pay for your trip, but you met with people and said, I want more money now. I want my money.
I
My
did
money.
meet with people.
It's your money and I want it now.
Yeah. I have a structured settlement.
You wish. You wish you had that structured money flowing in every 2 weeks, every month.
So yeah, I told them it was kind of hard because we did a lot of, it was about an hour meeting, maybe a little bit less, I don't remember. But we did a lot of just talking about silly things at first. And then I was asked about my relationship with Eric and how that's going. And I just expressed myself appropriately there. And then we just like talked about, I had met with the sales team previously that day. And so I told her about that meeting and the kinds of things that I feel about myself, about how I feel like I'm being underutilized in that way because I am good at what I do and I know how to edit things and I can if I'm not difficult to work with when it comes to like redoing a spot or whatever. I'm not I was going to say like a diva, but you know how some people can be really annoyed if you tell them you have to go back and redo something. Like, I don't care. I'm fine with that. So anyway, we did a lot of talking about that. A lot of them telling me how great I am and all of that. And that's all fine. And I appreciate that. But near the end, it was like, okay, well, she has a meeting and she had another meeting coming up back to back. And I was like, wait, I have to talk about this last thing. I had told Ken that I wanted $5,000 more and I changed it to $6,000 because I wanted it to be 10% of my salary. And Jalea was like, 10%. But then when she found out how much I made, she's like, oh, okay.
So she had no idea.
I asked for that. Huh?
She has no idea how much you make.
Apparently not. And then I said, and I was like, oh, and I want to be under contract. And I explained that too. I said, everybody is protected except for me. And that is not a feeling. That is not something that I want. So, she was open to it, And then when we left, Ken and I were walking down the hall and I was like, oh, that was difficult for me to do, and he was like, no, you did fine. You did great. He said, fuck that. Like, you shouldn't be getting another part-time job. Like, you should be here. Meaning I should, my energy and effort should be at the station or for the show. So.
Yeah, make it happen then. That's what it's like, fine, I agree. Make it happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How'd it go with the salespeople? Yeah. They were actually there, huh? People were actually at the office for you to meet with.
Yeah, so I got to meet with a big old room full of people. I I did kind of choke at one point because they said like, what are you passionate about? Like, I was like,
Unbelievable. Nothing. Nothing,
kind
because
of.
that's a ridiculous question. What am I
Okay,
passionate
thank
about?
you.
Anything I'm passionate about, I'm not going to tell you because that's special and meaningful to me, and I'm not putting it out there in this room for you all to rip apart like vultures.
And for me, what I'm passionate about is like, I get impassioned about things, but I wouldn't say like, it's like, oh, I'm passionate about woodworking. Like I don't have something that would translate into something they could set. Like I'm passionate about real estate. I'm passionate about my finances. I'm passionate about my custom closet or something. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing I could say that would transfer or translate to them into something they could give me an endorsement for. I told them, I was like,
Is that why they were asking?
Yes.
I'm
So
passionate
that they could
about
have an idea of
helping
who
clients.
I am.
I'm passionate about helping clients grow their business and make more money.
Right.
That's what really
Exactly.
drives me. Making more money for other people. That's
what
I
I'm passionate
live
about
for.
is convincing you guys to give me more endorsement or give me an endorsement so that I can go on a trip.
So you failed. You dropped the ball. That's what you're saying. You had an opportunity.
Well, I just said
to
like
really
I said I don't have something specific, but I do feel like I can convey whatever needs to be conveyed. Like I kind of danced around that.
I'm feeling embarrassed for you.
I know it was embarrassing. Yeah.
How many people were in this room? Oh my God, you had an opportunity. You think Bortz went in there and said such things? You think?
I don't know.
You think? What's his sidekick's name? Who's still
Belinda?
Yeah, her name just left my brain.
Yeah.
It did not exist. What did I want to
That's
call
fine. I
her?
don't want to be like either of those people.
I wanted to call her Bethany. I don't know why Bethany
That's
was
close.
coming to my mind. What is she passionate about?
Chopping down my tree. I
So
didn't think
you
about
never-
this, but she's getting married, so she can't do those divorce commercials anymore.
Well, she
I'm
can.
divorced,
I'm
bitch.
happily married, and if I didn't get my divorce, I
Yeah.
couldn't be married and be happy.
Yeah.
Like I am now to this wonderful man, and it was all because of my divorce lawyer. Because if I were still married, the law says I couldn't marry this wonderful man that makes me so happy. I'm so happy these days. Thank you, divorce lawyer.
Thank you, divorce lawyer. I love getting
See?
divorces.
That's perfect. That works out wonderfully for her.
Well,
But
that's
you
fine.
should have just said to this, look, Belinda's, she's old. Okay, come on, take a step into
yeah.
the future. The future is actually now the past. You're so far behind.
Well, I did say stuff like that. I was like, well, I am an older technical millennial, and there is a lot of pressure put on people my age to be in a certain sort of station in life and have certain things crossed off the list. And I think the stage as it's set right now makes it really difficult to be able to achieve a lot of those things that people in the past were able to achieve a lot easier. So if I worked with like a financial somebody, I could talk about that. Like I'm 41. I'm looking at my retirement account and thinking, how long is that going to last me?
A day.
So I talked about that. I talked about being in the closet here. My studio's in my closet, and how maybe some like custom closet
It
something
came off a little differently. Yeah, it came off a little differently
I know.
at first.
Well, I made a joke. I was like, I've spent more time in the closet than fill in celebrities blank name.
Boo! In 2000, that would have worked, but now it's insensitive. That was an insensitive joke.
Oh, I was not that sensitive in the meeting. I made some like joke about because my date was that night. The carathon, so I was in town for the carathon, and before the carathon had even started, there were things that people could donate and win as part of an incentive. So somebody bid $500 to go on a date with me. He's bringing his wife and stuff, so it was all good. But, we talked about like he donated $500, and I was like, I made some joke about it starting out at $500, and then we'll see where the night goes. And they were
Did
like,
it get a reaction?
Oh! Huh?
Did you get a reaction, or did the?
Yeah, but it was almost like the way that I talk about hanging out with certain types of women, where it's like I can't, like I'll say something a little bit shocking, and everybody's like, they like it, but they're also like a little, like clutching their pearls about it, like, oh, whoa, crazy, like you're wild, and that's kind of how it felt in the meeting, because it probably was not appropriate.
Corporate
but I also
setting.
was like, listen, I'm on this show. This is I'm not a business person. I don't know.
Well, hopefully they'll get you some shit.
Ugh, I was nervous. So they Jalay also she's the GM. So she was telling me like I need to start building relationships with the salespeople. So I'm gonna make some spec spots, and I'm also gonna like keep in touch with people in the sales team and just email them.
Hey, what's up?
them.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Now, get rid of
Hey,
Belinda.
look at me.
I would target the people who book Belinda.
Well,
Move them
I'll
off
tell you
of
a
her.
secret.
Yeah.
They've been getting some complaints
About?
about Belinda.
Well, maybe you
having too
shouldn't.
many-
Yeah, whatever. You can tell me off.
Yeah.
Just in case, don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't air the dirty laundry here. Just
All right.
don't screw yourself over. Somebody hears it and it gets out there.
True.
I know that
My bad.
people listening want to hear the gossip. They want it. But
Yeah.
for your own protection. Okay, so maybe things, as soon as you get this straightened out, that's when the show's
Yeah.
going to go away. It's all going to come together, and then there's
Well,
not
if I'm
gonna
under
be
contract, that's fine. I'll
Is-
pay me until the contract runs out.
there's not going to be a re-signing. I'm out of here. You want me to have
See, that's why I
meetings.
want to be under contract, because Eric does not breed confidence in, like, he's always like, well, I'm under contract, so fuck it. You're like, okay.
There's not much thought to the rest of the people on the show. If I blow this up, it doesn't just affect me. That's not thought about, I don't think.
I hope it is, but the actions don't speak to that.
I got to look out for the rest of these people. So sometimes I got to make sacrifices, things I may not want to do because it's best for everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
That doesn't happen.
Possibly.
I mean, I think he thinks about like, well, if I wanted to leave, then what would these other people do? Maybe that's happening, but I don't think there are ways for syndication to be achieved, and he refuses to play ball.
It's a thing of the past.
Okay.
Well, there's work that goes into it.
Right. There's work that goes into it. And he he goes on these rants about the workforce not wanting to put in the hard work and like stay late and do this and that. It's like he won't even answer his email. He won't even log into his Outlook.
There's some rebellion there. There's a thing.
Obstinate defiant disorder.
Yeah, I work for a big corporation, and all these other people work for these corporations. Are bend over backward for the corporation, have their arms twisted by the corporation, have to do these things, and I'm not doing any of that. So I'm here getting my money, playing the game the way I want to play it. I'm winning. I think not logging into your corporate email, that's what you're getting out of it. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Fuck, because who cares to log into your corporate email? Maybe people are writing you. Maybe you'd want to interact with some of the listeners. Maybe.
Well, not listeners, but just,
Well, I know that work stuff comes through. Like maybe
Yeah.
just getting updates, understanding what's happening in the bigger picture, feigning a little interest of the station and the company as a whole. Not even the company, because the company is huge, but the station. There are people there. You're all working for the same stations, the same cluster of stations. And to alienate yourself, if I am somebody else who's working hard, and I see a person who
Right.
acts better than that. It's not even working hard, but like acts better than the other people.
Well, that's me.
I'm
You're talking about me.
I'm having trouble because I know that there's not this idea of being better than the other people. It's just this idea of being different enough and outside of the normal operations that then can come off as being better. I just feel as though if I encountered a person like that, it's like, hey, look, we all work for this station. We're on the same team, and you having zero interest in anything else but yourself is a bit off-putting. It's ultimately all I wanted to say.
Well, I'm having to do
difficult.
all of this dancing and work to try and, beg for more money. And he doesn't have to do anything except, prep a little bit and show up. And he gets to be pretty shitty to some of the people that he calls friends and act like a big baby.
It's a shame you didn't have a chance to hang out and clear the air.
No, there's no clearing.
You could reset, work on the relationship.
No, there's no working on it. He doesn't want to put any work into it.
If he reached out to you.
He did reach out to me before. And when I expressed to him all the things I felt, he responded telling me that I'm wrong for feeling those things. So,
all right.
Okay,
So you've been there.
got it.
All right. You've been there. You've done that.
Got it.
Fair enough. I was just asking if he had reached out and said, hey, when you're in town, let's go get lunch.
Oh, no. This was way before that.
I know that was way before that, but
yeah.
I was asking. It seems like you said, I've already been through that. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what had started the show is your flight home was delayed. You didn't get home until 3:34 in the morning.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was horrible.
Because
so tired.
There was bad weather. There was bad weather in Baltimore, which I know because I was waiting on the Orioles game to start because I had bet on the Orioles to win. And they did end up winning that game, but it was a very delayed start because storms in the area. And I
don't think it was from Baltimore. It was because the flight previously had a delay and then they switched gates for this other thing and so
maybe they switched whatever it was.
We're waiting on pilots.
There were storms in Baltimore. If
Right.
that's not what it was, then I just made an assumption clearly, but there were bad storms. I was watching the weather in Baltimore because I was thinking this game needs to fucking start. I have money riding
So
on
you
it,
can win your money.
$10. I have $10 on this game. So for whatever reason, and then you sent me pictures of cretins at the airport, people passed out on the ground.
Yeah, if you look on my TikTok, I made a little TikTok about the one guy.
Did you blur their face?
Yeah, I put those like deep sea fish that have like the big nose but they look normal in the deep sea because there's no pressure on them.
Yeah.
And then when you bring them up to the surface, they like blob out and have this big nose and this big sad face.
Yes.
Yeah, I put that on his face.
Well, it's very fitting for this guy.
That's what I thought too.
I don't know what we. This could have launched into a conversation about delays at the airport and how people really. It does suck when you're there and you're stuck and there's nowhere to go. And like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm gonna sprawl out on the fucking floor, let my gut hang out.
He took his socks off and was like rubbing his feet. Dude, have some decorum. I'm all about being like casual, make yourself comfortable, but it just seemed like too much.
Bet he was farting. I'm looking at this picture. I think
probably.
He was farting.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's like, well, I'm sleeping, so.
A bit of humility. You want to rub your feet?
Yeah.
Fine. I would go somewhere where it seemed a bit private. Not right here in the middle of the gate area.
Yeah, like turn around and sit like and face the window and rub your feet, you know? But just like no shame.
My purple socks.
Ew. So gross. And his socks were different socks? They were two different socks? It's fucking weird. He had a whole ass family.
And then
he had like 4 kids with him that were also weird. Like the one kid sat down and like across from me And they made the announcement that it was going to be delayed and blah, blah, blah. And that we're waiting on these pilots. And the kid was like, well, he wasn't a kid. He was probably like a young adult. Maybe he was like, well, I don't know. He was like 17 or 18 or something. And he was looking at me. I had my AirPod in. Like, I was not paying attention to him. But he just started talking at me and said something about like, they'll delay it again. Just wait. You'll see. This is going to be canceled. I was like, well, whatever. And then he started telling me some more. I was like, well, neither of us are, what did I say, aviation law something. I said, none of us know about like aviation law, so I don't know what's going to happen. And then he stopped talking to me.
I would have told him, stop dumping your anxiety on me. I'm not carrying that.
Yeah. Get out of here.
People like to, in those situations where you're all going through the same thing and you're getting really frustrated, people like to reach out to you. I get angry and annoyed when flights are delayed, but I don't talk to anyone. That's the thing. It's like, that's my anxiety.
I did not care. I was like, I was tired and I was wishing that it wasn't happening, but also I was like, whatever, we'll just keep sitting here. We are all so lucky these days. We all have phones. We have like everything at our fingertips. It's fine.
I know, before you would have had to get magazines. You would have needed to buy a magazine and a newspaper.
Yeah, a newspaper.
It would have been awful. Can you imagine the horror?
And kids, like, having to entertain them without a phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are
going to be delayed
best.
again. Did he sigh a lot before he started speaking to you? Do you make noises like that? People do
Probably. Yeah.
Again, I understand the feelings. I share those feelings. I don't dump them on strangers. I dump them on people I know.
That's worse.
No, that's what you get for knowing me. But I would never go up to a stranger. It's like, all right, you're just looking for some connection though, because he's feeling stressed and anxious, and if he feels like you start talking about it, you must feel the same way. Maybe it'll alleviate it. Misery loves company, whatever the fuck it is.
Well, when I found out that he was that kid's, or when that guy sprawled out was the dad, I was like, oh, okay, this family's just a bunch of weirdos.
Then you sent a picture of what, a man wearing pinata pants?
Yeah, this kid. I didn't put that on my TikTok, but that was his mom. It's this kid who looked like 15 or 16, and his mom, and they were uncomfortably close, talking to each other and like whispering in each other's ear. And like at one point, she handed him some pill, which might have been just like a Tums or something, and she accidentally dropped it, and he gave her all this shit for it, and then put his foot on top of it on the floor so that she couldn't reach it when she was going down to get it. I was like, what a little dick.
Well, look at those pants.
And he had a shirt on. It was like a Balenciaga shirt. Like I think they were very wealthy, I guess.
Are these pants, or this looks like the material that pinatas are made out of?
Yes. Or like, I showed it to Pete and he said it looked like Big Bird's legs.
Yeah. So you got money. I guess when you have money, you look like an idiot.
Yeah, he was a real idiot.
Anyway,
thanks everybody.
I pay a lot to look like. Oh, I see the crotch here doesn't have any of the pinata fraying though. That's nice.
It was weird.
It's nice.
It was fucking weird. They were weird as fuck. They were the weirdest. And they were like napping on each other. Ugh, they seem like a couple.
It's gross.
I don't know. Anyway, thanks everybody. Like and subscribe, rate and review, tell your friends. And that's it. Bye.